20 worst restaurants from the 1970s that faded into history. Remember the 70s? When vinyl booths squeaked, menus were thick as phone books, and eating out felt like a real occasion? It was the era of family diners, all-you-can-eat buffets, and those classic American dishes we still crave today. But time has a way of changing things. Many of those once popular spots have faded into memory. In this video, we're flipping through the pages of the past to rediscover 20 iconic restaurants from the 1970s. Places that were once legends but now live on only in our nostalgia. Chi-Chi's. If you dined out in the 1970s, there's a good chance you remember Chi-Chi's. It wasn't just a restaurant, it was an experience. Loud, colorful, and full of flavor. Founded in Minneapolis, Chi-Chi's came onto the scene with a bang. This was Tex-Mex made for the masses. Picture walking in on a Friday night. The walls splashed with bold colors, sombreros hanging from the ceiling, upbeat music thumping in the background. You could hear the sizzle of fajitas long before the waiter made it to your table. And the food, it was big, bold, and cheesy. Towering plates of nachos smothered in jalapenos. Chimichangas the size of your forearm. Fried ice cream that felt like magic on a spoon. It was American-style Tex-Mex at its most indulgent. By the late 70s, Chi-Chi's was exploding. Over 200 locations across the country. It became the spot for birthday parties, casual dates, or just a fun family dinner. Parents sipped margaritas. Kids picked melted cheese off their plates. Everyone had a good time. But while the party rolled on, things were changing. Diners started looking for lighter, fresher options. Authentic Mexican cuisine was gaining popularity. Competitors were evolving. Chi-Chi's wasn't. Then, in 2003, disaster hit. A hepatitis A outbreak linked to tainted green onions at a Pennsylvania Chi-Chi's made headlines across the country. Over 600 people got sick. 4 didn't make it. It was heartbreaking and devastating. The damage was too much to overcome. Lawsuits mounted. Customers disappeared. Chi-Chi's tried to hang on, but the writing was on the wall. Not long after, the chain shut its doors for good. What started as a joyful, over-the-top celebration of Tex-Mex turned into a cautionary tale. About staying current, about listening to your customers, and about just how critical food safety really is. Chi-Chi's may be gone now, but for many, the memory of sizzling plates, giant margaritas, and good times shared still lingers. Like the echo of laughter on a busy Saturday night. Wags. In the late 1970s, Walgreens surprised everyone by jumping into the restaurant business with a cozy, casual diner called Wags. Unlike fast food joints, Wags aimed for a sweet spot between quick service and full-service dining, offering generous portions of classic American comfort food at prices families could afford. Stepping into a Wags felt like coming home. Whether it was a juicy burger, tender roast beef sandwich, or a big plate of fluffy pancakes served any time of day, Wags delivered dependable, hearty meals in a warm, family-friendly setting. Late-night snack, weekend breakfast, Wags had you covered. Many assumed Wags was related to Wendy's, but it was 100% a Walgreens creation, part of a bold trend where drugstores dabbled in new ways to pull in customers. And for a while, it worked. Families loved the laid-back vibe and solid food, making Wags a neighborhood favorite across the country. But as the 1980s unfolded, flashier rivals like TGI Fridays and Chili's burst onto the scene, with trendier menus and more modern atmospheres. Wags didn't evolve with the times, and its charm began to feel outdated. By 1991, Walgreens pulled the plug and sold off the last of its restaurant locations. Though it's long gone, Wags lives on in memory. A nostalgic snapshot of an era when you could grab a milkshake at a pharmacy-owned diner and order pancakes well past bedtime. Victoria Station. In the early 1970s, 3 ambitious Harvard Business School graduates cooked up a restaurant idea unlike any other Victoria Station. Stepping into one of these unique eateries felt like boarding an old-fashioned train bound for nostalgia. Many Victoria Station locations were literally built from converted railway cars, bringing diners the authentic charm and excitement of classic rail travel. But this wasn't just dinner, it was a full-on immersive adventure. Families and travelers eagerly gathered for hearty, satisfying meals featuring mouth-watering steaks, succulent barbecue ribs, and other classic American favorites. The aroma of sizzling steaks and smoky ribs filled the air as guests enjoyed their meals surrounded by vintage railroad memorabilia and polished wooden interiors. It quickly became a beloved destination for anyone craving comfort food served with a generous side of nostalgia. By the mid-70s, Victoria Station was a runaway success. The chain expanded rapidly, opening over 100 bustling locations across the U.S. and even venturing abroad. Diners couldn't get enough of the railway-themed atmosphere and delicious, crowd-pleasing fare. Yet as the decade rolled on, storm clouds gathered on the horizon. Behind the scenes, Victoria Station was struggling with rising food and operating costs, making it increasingly difficult to maintain their trademark quality and charm. At the same time, diners' tastes began shifting. Sleeker, more modern restaurants entered the scene, offering fresher ingredients and trendier atmospheres. Victoria Station, clinging to tradition, didn't keep pace. The chain soon found itself facing mounting financial pressures from aggressive expansion and questionable management choices. By the early 1980s, the dining cars had started to empty, and revenues were plunging. Efforts to modernize menus and spruce up interiors failed to recapture the magic that had initially enchanted diners. Finally, in 1986, Victoria Station filed for bankruptcy, signaling the end of an unforgettable culinary journey. By the close of the decade, the beloved railway-themed restaurant had vanished from the American landscape, leaving only fond memories of delicious meals and delightful adventures aboard a stationary train. Burger Chef. Let's head back into the golden age of fast food and talk about Burger Chef, one of the industry's true trailblazers. Founded in 1954, Burger Chef didn't just follow trends, it created them. By the 1970s, this innovative burger joint had skyrocketed to become one of America's largest restaurant chains, boasting more than 1,200 locations coast to coast, second only to the fast food titan McDonald's. Burger Chef's popularity wasn't accidental. It thrived on bold innovation. Imagine walking into a Burger Chef in the 70s and encountering their groundbreaking flame-broiled burgers, perfectly charred, juicy, and bursting with flavor. They even pioneered the idea of customizing your own burger with their revolutionary Works Bar, a topping station loaded with fresh ingredients, allowing customers to build their perfect burger masterpiece. This do-it-yourself concept made Burger Chef feel modern, interactive, and uniquely exciting. But their creativity didn't stop there. Burger Chef was among the very first chains to offer combo meals, bundling burgers, fries, and drinks together, a concept now central to fast food menus worldwide. They even helped popularize salad bars, giving diners healthier, fresher options alongside their classic fare. One of their signature creations, the mighty Super Chef Burger, proudly rivaled McDonald's iconic Big Mac, quickly becoming a beloved favorite. With a menu also featuring thick milkshakes, crispy fried chicken, and fish sandwiches, Burger Chef had something delicious for everyone, truly making it a one-stop fast food paradise. Rapid growth and ambitious franchising soon turned Burger Chef into a household name. However, trouble began after General Foods purchased the thriving chain in 1968. Under new management, Burger Chef's once stellar reputation began to falter. Food quality became inconsistent, marketing messages got muddled, and customers grew confused. Meanwhile, competitors like McDonald's and Burger King fiercely fought for market share, stepping up their own game with strategic promotions and stronger brand identities. Burger Chef's early success was undeniable, but momentum doesn't last forever. Customer loyalty dwindled and sales plummeted. In 1982, General Foods finally sold the struggling Burger Chef locations to Hardee's. Gradually, the beloved Burger Chef name began fading from roadside signs across America. By 1996, every last Burger Chef restaurant had either been converted or closed, marking the end of an era. Today, Burger Chef is remembered fondly as the innovative underdog that almost challenged McDonald's dominance gone, but certainly not forgotten by those lucky enough to taste the fast food magic it once created. Bennigan's. Bennigan's wasn't just a restaurant, it was a vibe. One of the pioneers of casual dining in America, it offered the perfect blend of comfort food, pub energy, and weekend escape. Founded by Norman Brinker in 1976, it quickly became the go-to spot for families looking to treat themselves and young folks wanting a laid-back night out without breaking the bank. With its cozy booths, friendly bartenders, and sizzling skillets flying out of the kitchen, Bennigan's felt like a place where everyone was welcome. You didn't need a reservation, just an appetite and maybe a craving for their legendary chicken tenders or Monte Cristo sandwich. And let's not forget the drinks. Whether it was happy hour after a long day or a casual get-together on a Friday night, the place always had a buzz. Tucked into suburban shopping centers and just around the corner from your local mall, Bennigan's had a way of being both familiar and special. It wasn't fancy, but it had heart. And for many, that's what made it better than rivals like Chili's or TGI Fridays. Only a handful of Bennigan's restaurants remain today, and fans say the magic's just not quite the same. But for those who grew up with it, the memories linger. Flavors, laughter, and moments frozen in time over a basket of fries and a frosty glass. How about you? Got a favorite Bennigan's memory? Maybe a birthday, a family get-together, or a late-night stop for those legendary chicken tenders and some laughs. Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips. As fast food chains exploded across America, one newcomer made waves, not with burgers, but with crispy fish and golden fries. Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips, named after the charming British actor, opened its doors in 1969 with one goal: bring authentic, golden, crispy, British-style fish and chips to American diners. And for a while it worked beautifully. By the mid-70s, it was a smash hit. Over 800 locations nationwide. While everyone else was flipping burgers, Arthur Treacher's served flaky Atlantic cod, thick-cut fries, and those sweet, crunchy hush puppies. It was something different, and people loved it. Families came for that special seaside flavor, and the British-themed decor made it feel like more than just dinner. It felt like a little trip across the pond. But tastes began to change. By the late 70s, diners started looking for lighter, healthier meals. Fried fish lost its appeal. And when supply issues forced them to swap out their prized cod for cheaper fish, fans noticed. Meanwhile, newer seafood chains stepped in with grilled options, shrimp baskets, and fresh salads. Arthur Treacher's just couldn't keep up. Franchise owners got frustrated. The charm faded. The dining rooms looked old, the menu felt tired, and younger customers moved on. By the 1980s, the decline was hard to ignore. Stores started closing, hundreds of them. Today, only a few locations remain. The name lives on, mostly as a memory. Arthur Treacher's was once a rising star, a British twist that took America by storm, before quietly slipping away. Stuckey's. When it comes to classic American road trips, few places evoke nostalgia quite like Stuckey's. What began as a modest roadside pecan stand in rural Georgia back in the 1930s blossomed into an iconic fixture along America's highways. By the 1970s, over 350 Stuckey's locations spanned the country from coast to coast, each one a cherished pit stop for travelers seeking food, fuel, and a taste of Southern charm. Picture yourself back then, cruising down the interstate on a family vacation. It wouldn't be long before those distinctive teal-blue roofs caught your eye, Stuckey's inviting you in for a much-needed break. It was more than just a place to refuel your car, it was a welcoming oasis filled with dependable comfort foods, quirky souvenirs, and sweet Southern treats. Sure, the menu wasn't fancy, but that was part of Stuckey's charm. Travelers counted on hot, juicy burgers, comforting Southern-style dishes, or quick bites like a classic hot dog to keep everyone fueled up and ready for the journey ahead. But the real draw, the irresistible, unforgettable part of every Stuckey's visit, was the snacks. From their legendary pecan log rolls Soft, nougat-filled candy logs rolled generously in crunchy pecans to mouth-watering pecan pralines and assorted nut candies. Stuckey's treats were impossible to resist. They were the taste of the open road, wrapped up in sugary goodness. Stuckey's unique magic was that it seamlessly combined the convenience of roadside stops with the warmth and hospitality of Southern dining. Each location had a family-friendly atmosphere, where everyone from weary parents to excited kids could stretch their legs, grab a treat, and make memories. You might question some of those quirky souvenirs later, but buying them was part of the fun. Souvenirs, candies, and treats became tangible memories from unforgettable family trips. Unfortunately, as the years rolled by, Stuckey's faced growing competition from corporate travel plazas and national fast food giants, all equipped to handle changing travel habits and evolving tastes. Larger, modern competitors offered bigger menus, slicker facilities, and convenience stores that dwarfed those charming teal-roofed buildings. Gradually, Stuckey's struggled to keep pace, losing ground as newer highway rest stops took over America's interstates. Unable to adapt quickly enough to shifting trends, Stuckey's slowly began disappearing from the highways. Today, while a handful of locations remain, most exist as nostalgic reminders of simpler times. For millions of travelers, Stuckey's symbolizes a golden era of family road trips when stopping for pecan log rolls. Wasn't just a break in the drive, but a cherished highlight of the journey itself. Wimpy's. Our final nostalgic stop is a burger chain that dared to do things differently. Wimpy's. Born in Chicago back in the 1930s, Wimpy's didn't truly hit its stride until the booming burger years of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, when it briefly earned its place among America's favorite fast food spots. Wimpy's wasn't your typical grab-and-go burger stand. This chain aimed for something more refined. Imagine walking into a Wimpy's and seeing burgers served on real plates, complete with actual silverware. Yes, here you could dig into a juicy quarter-pounder-style burger using a knife and fork, an unexpected upscale touch that set Wimpy's apart from the competition. The chain cultivated a devoted fan base who adored their hearty, flavorful burgers, but perhaps even more beloved was their quirky bender in a bun, a distinctive sausage sandwich with a personality and flavor all its own. This odd yet delightful creation developed a cult following and became something of a Wimpy's signature dish. But even though these classy touches gave Wimpy's a unique identity, they sometimes worked against the restaurant's favor. Fast food, after all, is about convenience, speed, and simplicity, grabbing a burger with your hands and devouring it quickly. Wimpy's sophisticated plating, while charming, felt out of step with what diners truly wanted when craving fast food. Yet, the biggest obstacle Wimpy's faced wasn't just its elevated style. It was consistency. As the chain expanded, diners noticed significant differences from one Wimpy's to another. Some locations nailed the dining experience, offering perfectly cooked meals and friendly service, while others fell short. Quality varied greatly, and customers grew frustrated by unpredictable experiences. As the fast food industry raced ahead, innovating menus and streamlining operations, Wimpy's simply couldn't keep pace. By the close of the 1970s, most Wimpy's locations across America had quietly disappeared, their refined burger dream fading into history. Although the Wimpy's brand still lives on internationally here in the States, it's become just another fond, nostalgic memory. A reminder of a time when even fast food could occasionally be elegant, quirky, and charmingly out of place. Lums. Starting as a tiny hot dog stand in the 1950s Miami Beach, Lums grew into a beloved national chain by the 1970s, thanks to one bold idea: serving beer with your food. Their claim to fame? Hot dogs steamed in beer, tucked into soft, beer-battered buns. Add a mountain of toppings and you had the legendary Lums Special, a messy, mouth-watering hit. But it wasn't just the food. Lums interiors had the cozy vibe of a neighborhood pub, with dark wood decor and corner bars that made it feel more like a tavern than a fast food spot. Adults loved it, even if it wasn't exactly a place for kids. As America's taste shifted in the 1980s, Lums failed to keep up. Healthier trends and modern competitors left it behind. By the mid-80s, most lums had vanished, leaving behind memories of beer-steamed hot dogs and a fast food experience like no other. The Brown Derby. Few restaurants are as deeply tied to Hollywood's golden age as the Brown Derby. Opened in 1929, it wasn't just a place to eat, it was the place to be seen. Its most famous location, shaped like a derby hat on Wilshire Boulevard, quickly became a hotspot for movie stars, producers, and deal-makers alike. At its peak, the Brown Derby had spread to several locations, even securing a coveted spot in Walt Disney World. Yet through all that success, it held on tight to its signature elegance and old Hollywood charm. The menu matched the clientele, refined and classic. From juicy roast prime rib to golden fried chicken, and especially the Cobb salad, invented right there by owner Bob Cobb, the food was as memorable as the atmosphere. Inside, walls were lined with caricatures of Hollywood's elite. But as times changed, so did dining habits. Financial troubles mounted, and by the late 20th century, this once iconic restaurant quietly slipped into history. Beefsteak Charlie's. If you were around New York City in the 1970s, chances are you remember Beefsteak Charlie's, a chain where every night felt like a celebration. Though it dated back to the early 1900s, it was during the 70s that Charlie's became a full-blown East Coast phenomenon. Their promise? Affordable steak dinners with an all-you-can-eat twist. We're talking bottomless steak, mountains of shrimp cocktail, overflowing salad bars, and most famously, unlimited beer and wine. It wasn't just a meal, it was a buffet binge wrapped in casual class, all for a price everyday folks could afford. Beefsteak Charlie's had its moment in the spotlight. Overflowing drinks, all-you-can-eat shrimp, and a vibe that felt almost too good to last. But its generosity soon became its downfall. By the mid-80s, ballooning costs and shrinking profits began to take a toll. As quality slipped and portions lost their magic, loyal customers drifted away. By the early 1990s, the party was over, and another New York icon faded into memory. Do you remember what your favorite dish was at any of these places? Comment below! Sandy's. Launched in 1958, Sandy's was built to go head-to-head with McDonald's, and for a while it gave the Golden Arches a real run for their money. What made Sandy's stand out was its playful charm. A proud Scottish heritage theme, a smiling bagpiper mascot, and catchy slogans that made kids grin and parents take notice. Throughout the 1960s, Sandy's expanded rapidly across multiple states. Their big draw? A no-frills 20-cent hamburger that delivered solid flavor at a wallet-friendly price. Add in thick, creamy milkshakes, and you had a recipe that kept customers coming back. The fast food landscape was changing fast. McDonald's, Burger King, and other giants surged ahead with flashier marketing, modernized menus, and national reach. Sandy's tried to keep up, eventually ditching its Scottish branding, but the effort came too late. The chain lost its unique identity, and with it, its loyal customer base. In 1973, Hardee's acquired Sandy's, and by 1979, every last location had been rebranded. Just like that, Sandy's vanished, another once promising rival swallowed by the fast food wars. Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken. Here's a classic cautionary tale of ambition gone wild, Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken. Launched in 1966 and named after the beloved Grand Ole Opry comedian, the chain was poised to be the next big thing in Southern-style fast food. With Minnie's folksy charm and a fried chicken craze sweeping the country, it looked like a recipe for success. And at first, it was. The chain exploded across the South and Midwest, opening over 300 locations in just a few short years. But behind the rapid rise was a shaky foundation. Despite its big promises, Minnie Pearl's quickly developed a reputation for bland, poorly prepared chicken and uneven service. Customers complained of undercooked meals and missing that signature Southern flavor. What was marketed as premium dining felt anything but. Poor quality control, reckless franchising, and inexperienced management led to financial chaos. By 1971, lawsuits for mismanagement and fraud hit hard, and public trust evaporated. As stores closed in droves, the brand spiraled. Mini Pearls came in like a whirlwind. Big dreams, bold flavors, but fizzled out before it found its footing. What started as a promising idea quickly lost steam, leaving behind little more than memories of what might have been. Sambos. Sambos entered the American dining scene with a simple goal: serve affordable, family-style meals with a strong focus on hearty breakfast. Known for its stacks of fluffy pancakes and casual all-day breakfast vibe, Sambo's quickly became a beloved stop for families nationwide. By the 1970s, it had grown into a massive chain with over 1,100 locations. But the brand carried a heavy burden. While the name Sambo's came from its two founders, Sam Battistone and Newell Bo Bonnet, it also drew from the story of Little Black Sambo, a children's book long criticized for its racist imagery. The restaurant's branding leaned into this connection early on, which would later spark major controversy. As cultural awareness and racial sensitivity grew in the late 1970s, so did public backlash. What once felt whimsical now felt offensive to many Americans. The company attempted to rebrand and shift away from its problematic imagery, but the damage was done. Coupled with overexpansion and mounting financial pressure, Sambo's couldn't weather the storm. By 1982, the company filed for bankruptcy, and most of its restaurants were either closed or sold off, bringing a controversial chapter in fast food history to a close. Gino's Hamburgers. NFL Hall of Famer. Gino Marchetti traded the football field for the fast food frontier with the launch of Gino's Hamburgers. What started as a modest burger joint quickly became a household name across the Mid-Atlantic, thanks in part to Marchetti's star power and a menu that packed a flavorful punch. The chain's signature item, the Gino Giant, was often compared to the Big Mac, but fans swore it tasted better. Big, bold, and satisfying, it helped define Gino's reputation for hearty, crowd-pleasing food. But Gino's secret weapon was innovation. The chain was one of the first to partner with KFC, offering both burgers and Colonel Sanders' famous fried chicken under one roof. It became the go-to stop for families across Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Gino's hit the gas on expansion before it was ready, and that breakneck pace came at a cost. Rapid growth stretched the company thin, and soon the charm that made it a local favorite started to fade. What once felt like a hometown gem began to feel more like just another chain. Quality slipped and loyal customers noticed. Just like that, Gino's a local legend faded into fast food history. Shoney's Big Boy. If you grew up near a Shoney's Big Boy, you probably remember it, not just as a restaurant, but as a warm, familiar part of everyday life. Launched in the late 1940s, Shoney's paired its now iconic Big Boy mascot with towering burgers, classic breakfasts, and a welcoming, family-first atmosphere. The star of the menu? The Big Boy Burger, a juicy double-decker stacked with lettuce, tomato, and that irresistible special sauce. But it was the breakfast that truly stole hearts. Golden hash browns, fluffy omelets, sizzling bacon, and pancakes that soaked up syrup like a sponge. It was comfort food done right, morning, noon, or night. Add in an all-you-can-eat salad bar, affordable prices, and the kind of service that made every visit feel like a special occasion. And it's no wonder families made Shoney's part of their routine. Sadly, as dining trends evolved and competition grew fierce, Shoney's lost its shine. While Bob's Big Boy lives on in California for many, nothing compares to the homey charm of the original Shoney's, where every meal felt like a memory in the making. Thank you for watching. To continue with more content, comment 1 to let us know you're still following. York Steakhouse. If you spent any time in a shopping mall during the 1970s, chances are you passed by or dined at a York Steakhouse. This mall-based gem, launched by General Mills, offered a cafeteria-style experience that felt like a cross between a medieval banquet hall and a high school lunchroom. What York lacked in glamour, it made up for in comfort and value. Diners lined up for juicy steaks, fluffy baked potatoes, and warm buttered rolls, all at wallet-friendly prices. It was the perfect spot for hungry shoppers needing a break without the fuss of formal dining. At its peak, York Steakhouse had hundreds of locations inside malls across the country. But as America's taste in dining evolved, the chain's simple setup and old-school charm began to feel dated. Eventually, one by one, the locations closed. Today, York Steakhouse lives on only in memories, a reminder of when grabbing a steak after a day at the mall just felt right. Red Barn. In the 1960s and 70s, Red Barn aimed to shake up the fast food world, starting with its unmistakable barn-shaped buildings. With playful menu names like the Big Barney and Chicken Hungry Sandwich, the chain quickly caught attention and grew to over 300 locations across the U.S. Red Barn wasn't afraid to experiment. It introduced a self-serve barn buffet, a concept ahead of its time that resembled modern salad bars. Their flame-grilled burgers, crispy chicken sandwiches, and fresh salads offered solid variety and flavor. But while the food had potential, the brand never quite figured out what it wanted to be. Was it fast food? A themed diner? A novelty experience? That lack of focus confused customers, and inconsistent food quality across locations didn't help. By the early 1980s, Red Barn had faded from the scene. Most locations were sold or repurposed, and the chain became a quirky memory, best remembered for its shape, not its staying power. Wetson's. In the 1960s and early 70s, Wetson's was a staple of fast food in the New York metro area. Founded in 1959, this regional chain built a loyal fan base with its Big W burger, charbroiled to perfection and served with crispy fries, simple, satisfying, and affordable. Wetson's stood out with its retro-style car hop service and eye-catching roadside signage that made spotting a location easy on any drive. At its peak, it operated around 70 locations, offering generous portions and a nostalgic dining vibe that appealed to families and teens alike. But as the fast food giants like McDonald's and Burger King muscled into the market, Wetson's struggled to compete. A mid-1970s merger with Nathan's Famous marked the beginning of the end. Operational costs soared, branding stalled, and inconsistent quality chipped away at its reputation. Wetson's, once a rising star in the fast food scene, eventually faded into memory, pushed out by bigger chains with louder marketing and deeper pockets. Thanks for joining us on this flavorful trip down memory lane. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a bite of American history and culture. We'll see you in the next video.